Alright, so here's pre-market analysis, basically before the market opens. That's what's considered pre-market analysis. So here overnight, I wasn't paying attention to when this zone got hit right before I went to sleep. So you can see the market's been moving down overnight. And we took this previous daily high. There we go. So that was the sell zone. Reason why is because the previous daily high, this one right here, that's what these two black lines are highlighting. So that's what would, basically be a confirmation for a trade. Right now, I think I'm just going to wait until this gets hit and then anticipate a reversal. Just because I am bullish, so if it were to turn around somewhere, here would be a good area. But yeah, overnight, basically that's what happened. It went above this daily high, and then above that was the projection zone from this time period. So you could see it came into here. I'm gonna put this box up here. We're gonna go zoom in on a lower time frame. And that's the thing, like, it is easier to trade in the mornings. But on a day like this where you see the main move, possibly the main move, it could just been going lower to just, come back higher later today. Who knows? But that's the thing. Like when you see the main move comes overnight, it would be nice to get there. But if you're trading futures, like, you're limited to the morning, especially if you don't have like a big account size, you can't really trade that. On prop firms you can, but either way, it's easier for the beginner to trade 930. Especially because of this right here. Like, this is what you would be looking at when it would come into that zone. You can see creates a high inside the zone. If you look, once it gets into this, you want to look for the first imbalance, which is right here on the buy side. But keep in mind, if we're going lower, we're going to look at the sell side as well. So this is technically the first imbalance that gets created. And what we want to see with this is just the failure to, especially the failure to respect 50%. And the failure to really break above it. When it does break above it, it comes right back below it. So that just shows that this is not being used, because if we're expecting a reversal inside these projections, we're going to want to see, like these things happen, the buy side fails to get reused, it doesn't have 50% respected. So just off the bat, as soon as it starts closing below on the 1 minute like that, then you already know, okay, this could possibly be a setup. This happens at like 6. Really there's no excuse to miss this. Is just like, negligence on my part. I should have been watching this because this would have been a nice run. But you see how this fails? So then we go to the first imbalance on the sell side. So, we have this high, we're looking through it. We see something here. And right away we see this gets, basically it doesn't get used. So that's invalid. We keep on looking. And we're going right here. Just to make sure there's this very small imbalance here. See, it gets used here, which is fine, but we want to pay attention to the one with kind of more room. Then you see this right here. You do see the bodies go above 50%, but you see it respects the high. It's shortly after that, as soon as it closes outside of it, that's where you could enter. The return to it, you take a trade here, entry here, stop loss here. It's like 10 points, $20. And then it just works away from it. So that's basically what happened overnight. That's what we're dealing with. Then after that, somewhere around here, it was like almost 300 points, like $600. If you had a futures account over 1,000, you'd be able to take that trade. So now that we have, let's call it basically the narrative. Like it went into that zone, went higher, then it reversed from there, and overnight it went lower. That's basically the narrative of what's going on today. But we could still see a reverse in a buy zone. And we'd only be looking for that because, to jump in to sell this late, most likely what's going to happen, since we have Asian range here, and this is going to be automated soon. It's just I had some bugs, so I have to like clean it up before I release it. Where is it? 7. So most likely, like it's looking like 60%. This day is going to be a sell day, and we're going to target below here. We would want to see a reversal before here. Why? Well, this zone from 3 to 3:45, this is our entry projection. But then from 7 p.m. to midnight is Asian range, and we use that as our target projection. So we don't want to see a target get hit, because if we see the target hit, most likely it's going to run out of like momentum. Once it hits its target, it's going to be done for the day. It's gonna, if it comes down here, then it's probably going to come up and move sideways, maybe even come a little higher, then come back down. So we don't want to get in that. We want to get in the main moves of the day. Especially that it's NFP week. You really want to be conservative with your decisions. So in this situation, we see here a buy projection ran out. If I change this back, we have one right there, right before the target. So that's one thing we would want to be watching. It's only 8:39, so definitely right now we're not doing anything before 9:30 open. Let me just check if there's anything. So what I would be doing with these projections, I'd just be going through all of them. Right now this is looking like the most valid. Especially if we have this lined up with the previous daily low. But I'd still be just going through to consider, noting everything that's broken. We have this. We want to be comparing this to the left. So this right here is just an area of interest. Probably going to set an alert. When it comes in here, start paying attention and then trying to look for that 1 minute reversal. Anything, really anything, like I said, that would be pretty much anything I would consider. Anything before this target projection. Because, like I said, it's probably going to run out of gas. And if it does, then I'm going to be looking for something like first presented fair value gap to give me confirmation. But even then, my decision making would be really limited. Like, I'd be very strict with what I want to see. If I would just narrow down a small area with first presented fair value gap. If it even comes back, below it, then I'm pretty much done for the day. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I would just want to stick with these setups before this daily low, on the anticipation that this daily candle went lower below this low, this daily low, this daily open, to come back higher to try to fill in this, or at the very least, return back up here, and break this zone and then run out. Then we create a daily candle that has a bottom wick and is kind of undecisive like a doji, and then maybe the next candle tomorrow we have this get filled in. But once again, just close out my thoughts. That in order for that to happen, to me, it would have to happen before that daily low, before this right here.